Look guys, I was saying it for 6 weeks. I was saying it for 6 months. Hell! I've been saying it for 6 years. No, I haven't, but I've been saying it for a little while now, that the Switch was going to sell well at launch. I've said that for the longest time, and the reason I know it's going to sell well at launch is because I went out the first day of pre-orders to pick up a Switch and they were all gone. I had to go around to like 7 different EBs, Walmarts and Best Buys to try and find somewhere that was selling a Switch. I managed to find one at a dinky little EB Games near me. At that point, you have to imagine that the system's going to sell well. If the pre-orders go first day, then at that point it's Nintendo's fault. If you haven't made enough systems to physically cater to demand, if you have a weak launch, that's your own damn fault. Turns out the system sold 600,000 units in the first 2 days. That is the best-selling Nintendo launch of all time. But to double that, this game here, this little game, literally a little game, look how small it is compared to this huge honking case. Well, it's not really huge, but compared to the game, it's pretty big. This is the best-selling Nintendo launch game of all time, meaning it just passed Super Mario 64. So, I mean, say what you want about the Switch. Your opinions on the Switch, whether you think it had good launch titles, whether you think it's a good system, whatever you want to say, as far as Nintendo goes, it's doing as good, as well, as amazing as it really can do right now. It couldn't really have done any better considering the hand that it was dealt. To everyone that said that the launch was gonna fail, I actually haven't done it yet. I don't want to either. I want to make this whole thing of like, how does that taste, everyone? And I'm gonna like taste the game, and I'm actually a little scared to. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's a dumb thing. As soon as I saw this trending, even my girlfriend messaged me and was like, what the f is up with this? But I'm going to, because I want to literally know how it tastes. I want to know how it tastes to be the best-selling Nintendo game at launch ever. I'm hesitating because I don't want to put this in my mouth. 8-Bit Eric threw up when he done this. And I just drank a lot of coffee. Let me try it again. So to everyone that doubted Nintendo and doubted how well this game would sell at launch, how does that taste? That actually is, oh, okay, can I? That's not even funny. I'm gonna be 100% with you guys right now. I kind of lied a little. When I poured it out of its case initially on launch day, I licked the top a little bit because curiosity got the better of me, and it didn't taste that bad. And I've even said to multiple people since then that people were being little bitches about that. So I kind of went full ham right then and licked the entire thing crazy. But the taste actually, when you lick the whole thing like that, it actually sneaks up on you and gets progressively worse even once you've taken it out of your mouth. A huge apology to 8-Bit Eric right now, because I even said, and I didn't say this to you, Eric, and if you're watching this, I apologize. I even said to my buddy Sean that you were overreacting, because it didn't taste that bad. There's no way that made you throw up, but I actually came very close to throwing up. My sides hurt from my dry heaving. Look, I'm sorry, Eric, but I tasted it on the first day and it didn't taste bad at all. There was no way in my mind that you threw up from that, but that's pretty bad. Ugh. 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 Oh, seriously, I should have done that at the end of this video because I'm having trouble regrouping right now. Ugh. In my last video, I talked about the Switch, I talked about Zelda. I actually recorded that a few days ago from now. I recorded that almost at launch day, pretty much, in the first 24 hours. And since then, I've been playing Zelda non-stop. I've been actually really fortunate. I only had to work 1 day in the last 3 days. I'm working a bunch from now, unfortunately, to make up for that. But I've had the last couple days off to really dive into Zelda, and I haven't put it down. I'm addicted to this game. I love this game probably more than a human being should love a video game. I'm having a ton of fun with it, a ridiculous amount of fun with it. And there's a few more things that I want to talk about the game while I'm here. Ugh, that fucking game. I changed my mind, I don't like it anymore. Bit me in the ass, in the arse. That was Irish more than Australian. So for starters, a lot of people have been complaining about frame rate issues, as I said in the last video, and something that I actually said in like text on the screen that I want to actually verbalize is the frame rate issues on the Switch all but go away once you leave the first area, which was such a relief for me. When I first started playing, I saw the frame rate issues. Frame rates are not a huge deal to me. I can get over it if the game is actually good and enjoyable and it's actually playable. And even in that first area, it wasn't a deal breaker. It was just a little bit like, that sucks. But as soon as I left that first area, the frame rates almost all but not went away. There's maybe been 2 or 3 times it slowed down briefly, and if it's done that more than that, I haven't even noticed. So the frame rates on the Switch at least improve once you leave that first area. I'm not sure what was wrong with that first area. I'm not sure what was holding it back so much. Once you actually open up and start playing the game, it really smooths it out. There is so much to this game that I keep discovering. It's crazy. Nintendo really wanted to push the boundaries of Zelda and see where they could go with it. They wanted to pull back all the way to the start, the initial NES Zelda, take a look at that, and sort of rebuild it from the ground up moving forward, rather than doing the way they've always done Zelda games. When you pick a Zelda game up, you know what you're in for. Almost like a Pokemon game, except Zelda games actually do change. The story vastly changes, the areas and the locations and everything looks different. It's just, the structure has always been the same. The structure of this is completely different. It was only today that I was playing that I found out that I could, if I'm on top of a hill or a mountain and got my shield out, I could jump on my shield and start sliding down the mountain. That's ridiculously fun, by the way, but it's like every time I pick this game up and start playing it, I'll discover something new. There's something extra that I've been able to do since the start. There's so many things open to you from the moment you start playing. Essentially, the entire game is open to you from the moment you start playing. And it's only from experiencing the game and moving forward and playing more and learning more that you realize all of this stuff that I could have been doing from the start. There's no skill tree. There's no unlocking these abilities. It's all about learning that you have them from the beginning. It's all about learning how to be Link. Learning, you wake up, and I mean, this isn't a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler. But okay, this next, just close your ears for the next 3 seconds, because this might be considered a spoiler. I'm not sure, but it's really relevant to what I'm about to say, so I want to say it. So 3, 2, 1. You wake up with no memory, and as Link, you need to relearn everything. That's it. That's all I was going to say. I'm not sure if that's even a spoiler, but as someone that starts playing the game as Link, you don't know how to do anything, you don't know how to be Link, you don't know how to play the game, and as you go, you relearn everything. Everything that's always been there since the start, you just didn't know how to do any of it. The parallels in that with the story is insane. The parallels in that with life is insane. This game is my new religion. Not really, but this game is incredible. Okay, I'm fanboying out a little bit, and there's a bunch more that I could say about it too. I've seen a lot of people saying if it wasn't a Zelda title, people wouldn't be losing their minds as much. I disagree and I agree. It's a fun game no matter what skin it's put in, but the fact that it is a Zelda game does give it that extra edge, and I mean, that's not a bad thing. It just so happens to be a Zelda game. I mean, the reason it exists is because Zelda is a franchise and they kept building more and more titles, and it's gotten to the point where this is Zelda now. If it was something else, it would still be fun, but we wouldn't have all the nostalgia and history, and we wouldn't have grown with this game, and we wouldn't have known going into it already how fun Zeldas can be. Our expectations wouldn't be as high. So while I agree that yes, the fact that it's Zelda makes it more exciting for us, makes us lose our minds a little bit more because it's a new Zelda game, I don't think that changes how fun the game is. If you reskin it, it's the same game. I imagine I would have just as much fun from a gameplay side of things and a game side of things, but the fact that it's Zelda instills nostalgia and excitement in me. So yes, I'm losing my mind about it more than I would be because it's Zelda. Just like Star Fox Adventures would be a fun game if it wasn't Star Fox, but the fact that I'm playing as Star Fox makes it a little bit more fun for me. But then I'm also weird, and I'm one of the 3 people on Earth that actually like Star Fox Adventures, so maybe I have no credibility there whatsoever, but screw it. Whether I spend a day wasting my time doing what essentially feels like nothing in the game, or I spend a day progressing through the story as much as I can, I have an incredible amount of fun, and I can tell this game is nowhere near even starting for me. In the first 3 days I've played it, I haven't even started the game, let alone explored or seen or done everything. I haven't even seen half of the world. I keep running into new exciting creatures. I ran into one recently. I'm not going to ruin anything. I just ran into this big strong creature that's part of the main story that I got to this part on my own in the main story. I can't touch this thing. It is way too strong. It's way too overpowered. I died like 20 times without even making a dent in this thing. And I could see there was no way I could beat it. So I had to pull back, and I'm having to do other things, explore other areas and other possibilities, other side quests to build myself up, to explore more, become stronger, to build myself up to take down this thing, which is something that's never happened to me in a Zelda game before. Not even close happened to me in a Zelda game before. Yes, it's very much like Dark Souls. Yes, it's very much like Witcher and Skyrim. It's taken all these elements, but as soon as you play it, even going in with the mindset of it's taken so many elements and borrowed so many elements from these games, it's immediately its own thing. It's immediately its own character. Nintendo's always been really good at that, at making things feel like Nintendo, and it does. It honestly feels like a Nintendo version of all those games, but in no way a bad way. It brings so much extra to the table on top of that. Like being able to jump on your shield and ride it down hills. There's so much you can do in this game, it's crazy. There is so much attention to detail. I was running in a lightning storm. By the way, running and riding through lightning storms is one of the most epic, badass cinematic experiences I've had. The sound of that lightning hitting the ground near you and the effects of that lightning, it's so exhilarating, it's so thrilling. And I was actually getting shocked by the lightning, and I hit by huge lightning bolts because I was wearing metal weapons on my back. I had to take the weapons off so I wasn't getting hit by lightning all the time, which makes perfect sense. And then the blood moon, I ain't gonna ruin the blood moon for you guys, but when you're running or walking in this game anywhere and suddenly the air starts to go ashy and you realize the blood moon's about to hit, and that whole experience, I'm just, I know, freaking out, fanboying out, sucking Nintendo's nuts. I'm on my knees for Nintendo right now. I almost got on my knees, but I really didn't want someone to like screen cap it and use that against me later, meme it. I realize I've been talking about Nintendo and Switch and Zelda a lot lately. I want you guys to experience Zelda for yourself, and I feel like I've said as much as I can say. I'm never gonna do a full amazing review on it because I don't feel like I can ever do games justice when I review them. So that's all I'm gonna say about Zelda. I'm gonna start putting out videos that are not Switch and Nintendo related very soon, I swear, but I appreciate you guys watching my videos. If you like Zelda, remember to like this video. If you liked watching me, I still have the taste in my mouth from that cartridge. If you liked seeing me, whatever that was, hit subscribe. And the Switch did sell well at launch day, so that does leave the question, where to from here? Do you guys think Nintendo has finally hit a winner after all this time? Let me know down below what you think of the Switch, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That game honestly tasted way worse than I expected, like revoltingly worse. Like, if you tried to eat it, you would 100% throw up.
Wake up, Link.
I'm just trying to get the thumbnail right now, and it's not even near my mouth. I'm not kidding. I was just trying to get the thumbnail.